6, we're doing pre-season, and the older guys were looking at each other going, well, none of us are getting spoken to, so none of us are going to be in this AFL squad. We started the conversation about what are we going to do together next year. We had no inkling that we were going to be still in the SNFL. So it was like this massive shock when they came to us and said, oh, by the way, Jack's going to finish up in June. He's going to go over and start the AFL campaign. Stephen Williams is taking over as coach. And you blokes at the end of the year will be shipped out to Atherton and start again over there. And it was a bit mind-boggling as to what would happen. So,
but you were still called the Maggies. You still had the jumper. You still had a sense of belonging.
And that, that was probably, again, one of the sticking issues now is that that's been there for all that time as well. And it's then in 2014 when you knew the two models didn't work, and
they got their own licence, and they did the new agreement,
and they came together, all the rest of it. That then put a different perspective on Port being in the SNFL.
Okay.
And you can say that the Guernsey was there and all the rest of it, but as I mentioned last night, it was compromised because you have to play X amount of AFL listed players. You have to put them in certain positions. You have to, rotate.
And you don't like that under that jumper, do you?
Well,
you don't like seeing
because
them.
That jumper was created by, the history of the football club and the creed that Foss wrote, and you can't really play to that because you've got a bigger being. You've got a bigger purpose.
A bigger master.
You've got the AFL.
It's about
that's what it's
development,
about.
not about winning.
And that's the difference in it. And so for mine, go into the AFL competition as the second tier, and Port Adelaide, people like myself, just have to accept that that's what we bidded for when we got the second licence. That's what you played for. That's what you wanted. That's what you got.
Now you've got it. So Port's hierarchy, through their board to their executive to CD, who has to execute it with negotiations with the AFL, they go with your blessing out of the sample. That jumper could be worn as a reserves jumper in a national reserves comp as a Port Adelaide.
It won't be. No. They'll wear their power kit. And
so they'll bin the jumper.
Hence why I asked CD, is this put more emphasis now on being able to wear it in the AFL. And that means if it's in a showdown, which they've got a couple of times, or is it when they play the Gold Coast at home?
So that famous
sort of
jumper will now be
a heritage
pushed into
jumper.
It's just a heritage jumper.
Heritage jumper is what it will be.
And you're happy with that?
And that will be because believe me, the
because
merchandise sales of it are phenomenal.
Yeah, they are. Because you don't have that magpie anymore, do you?
It's not in the sample comp. No.
So it wasn't about the magpie, it's the jumper, or is it about the jumper and the magpie?
More so the jumper, because if you do go back to Foss Williams' day, there is nothing on that jumper bar the bars and it looks awesome. I must admit. Oh, actually, it was only because you needed sponsors and the like that stuff started to come in probably the late 70s. Yeah.
So they'll go with your blessing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I hope that that's done with all parties mutually agreeing to the plan.
I'm sure it will. All right, lines available. Plenty of people want to have their say here. Again, unashamedly a sample person. It may sound like I was on Dalton's side with all of that, but I get the AFL's the AFL. I get the Crows and Port are super important and all of that, but so is the sample. So should the sample move first and say to Crows and Port, if you want out, go now. Have your say. Hello, Darcy.
G'day, thanks for taking the call.
Hey, Darcy.
I think this is where the SANFL should step up and save face a bit and say, right, we're going to fall in line with the AFL rules, and then that way then the two AFL listed clubs and the SANFL players are all playing by the AFL rules. That way then the two clubs that are getting picked to go to their senior teams are already playing by the same rules, and then the kids and the juniors that are trying to get picked by the AFL clubs are still playing by the same rules that they're potentially getting picked for the mid-season draft.
I'm just at a loss as to why Port are saying they're not developing in the SANFL comp. They clearly think if they move to the national comp, they're going to develop better. I just don't get that. It's not as if they're like Gold Coast won the VFL Premiership this year. Gold Coast have heaps of
academy players.
Academy players. They've got the whole of Darwin to pick. I'm with CD on that. That is so unfair. Their NGAs is ridiculous. Their top-ups could be AFL players and are this year. They won that flag. But in the NEFL, they were winning games by 200 points.
Which was a waste of time as well.
Sydney Swans are winning games by 200 points, GWS, etc.
Which is why they wanted to get out.
That's exactly right. I understand those 4 clubs saying to the AFL, hey, listen, the NEFL's crap. Get us in the VFL. At least we can play Frankston and we can play other AFL teams. And away they went, and that's great. But Crows and Porter in the SANFL, they haven't won a flag.
No.
None of them have won a flag.
And it's a good comp, no doubt about that.
And it's a bloody good comp. Thanks, Darcy.
Let's go to Peter at Hybrid. G'day, Peter.
How you going? If I remember rightly, the Crows and the Port didn't play in the COVID years 1 year. So
2020,
I go to Prospect every game that North Adelaide play, and I didn't notice any difference. And we went to the finals. Port and Crows people didn't even go to the finals. There's no one there. I mean, they get a goal and 4 people raise a flag. That's it. So I think they will survive very, very well without the 2 clubs in there.
Yeah, I think they will. The big one, and I was trying to make a few calls to CEOs at SANFL clubs. If Crows go, that's going to hurt. If Port go, it won't hurt. And I'll tell you the reason why is the Crows pay $400,000 a year to the SANFL. That's $50,000 per club. Take 50 grand off the bottom line of those 8 clubs.
Major sponsor.
And reckon their league directors will be saying, hang on a sec, we were going to find 50 grand. So I don't want them talking through their pocket. You'll find the 50. There'll be another sponsor. You just lift your whatever. Get more bums on seats, more membership, whatever it does that drives your revenue. But God, if it's only about the money, go. What else do they add?
You mean right now?
Yeah. Well, what do they add? They're not getting 4,000 to each game, and I go to a lot of SANFL games as you did, Timmy. You call it. I'm there every weekend. Been the chairman of selectors for 14 years. You took over. I love my SANFL. I very rarely see even Maggie's people there. There's a handful. I mean, there's a handful of Crows, and I reckon they're family members or friends of. They're not supporters. They don't support it.
Well, that probably also emphasises what they're playing for.
Yeah.
And when you're invested, you're in it.
That's exactly right. And it's not, and it's compromised. Anyway, have you say 822 300 00.
Keep your calls coming in. 11 minutes to 5. Let's check your roads. Copper is critical to the energy transition, and the responsible production of South Australian copper is happening now. BHP.
At Montague, look out for a crash. Montague Road near Smith Scully Road. Paradise, crash there too. Lower North East Road near George Street. Well, it's also East Boost Watermain. McIntyre Road near Peacock Road with left-hand lane closed. Busy at the moment. Tapley's Hill Road at Glenelg North. Slow. South Road at Fibberton with a camera. Rosedale Road at Rosedale. More great specials at Foodland. 125 gram punnets of Australian jumbo blueberries, $3 each. Blackberries and raspberries are $3.90 each. Ends tomorrow at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowey and Timmy G.
Calling all car fans. Need your weekly motoring fix? Join me, Charlie Dixon, Wednesday nights from 6:30 for Driving with Dixon. We talk about all things motoring, cars, car events, racing, anything motoring.
Thanks to Luva House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
So join me Wednesday nights for Driving with Dixon. Only on $13.95, Adelaide's 5AA.
Get great value on entertaining this Christmas at Coles. Like Coles Frozen Entertaining 3 cheese and chive croquettes, $7 every day. Or Coles 125 gram camembert, just $3 every day. That's great value, hands down, at Coles.
It's official. Prawn season is here, and SA King Prawns is the place to go for the freshest catch. When Tony, Heather and their crew aren't at sea, they're selling their delicious catch in the SA King Prawn store in Edinburgh North and SA Farmers Market Paraka. Pick up 2 kilos of raw medium prawns for $35. Buy 2 cartons and get $10 off. And Coffin Bay oysters from $15 a dozen. SA King Prawns, Edinburgh North, open 6 days a week. And Sundays, SA Farmers Market Paraka.
Oh, you're gardening now? How am I supposed to work? Oh, shut up! Wait, KFC are doing $1 Wicked Wings online.
Shut up and take my money!
Max 15 per order, online and pick up only, not everywhere and not forever.
Rising cost of living pressures are hitting everyone, some people more than others. If you're struggling with your home loan or credit card payments, there may be ways your bank can help. like lowering your home loan or credit card payments, restructuring the length of your loan to reduce them, moving you to interest-only payments for a while, or deferring them for a period. Don't tough it out on your own. Please, talk to your bank.
Hey mate, those boxes at the bottom of your stack are all marked fragile.
Trust me, boss, I have a system. Not again.
Oh, at least I got a great deal on my LDV.
Hurry to get $1,500 off the cargo-friendly LDV G10 van. Or for even more cargo room, get the LDV V80 van also with $1,500 off. Both from just $33,490 drive away for ABN holders. Get to a dealer today. LDV. Bring it on. New stock vehicles only. T's and C's and exclusions at ldvautomotive.com.au.
Health Fund members make healthy savings at Lordman and Pank Optometrists. We have special offers for our 40 Health Fund partners, so you save on the brands you love. Bulk billed eye tests available. T's and C's apply. Lordman and Pank. We care for eyes.
Ready to hit the road, guys?
Life is full of adventures, and it's important that through them all, you stay protected. Mobile Fuels protect your engine from the first fill.
Are we there yet?
Mobile Fuels. Engine protection sorted.
The sun never retires, but we do. And power bill shock should retire with us. That's why Warner Close Retirement Living offers environmentally friendly units equipped with the latest solar panels at no cost to you. Their industry-leading smart solar system keeps energy bills as low as possible, today and into the future. Switch off power bill shock when you rent a retirement unit with Warner Close. Visit warnerclose.com.au. SA Community Owned.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Port Adelaide is an AFL club. It's not an SANFL club. I've heard you say that many times. That's our reality. We are an AFL club right now, and we believe that the AFL competition should be equalised as much as it possibly can. There's no way that it's equalised to the point where we believe, it's equalised across the competition.
That's Chris Davies earlier on our program, the Port Adelaide GM of football.
He was spot on. Can't disagree with anything he said.
I did say AFL and equalisation.
Yeah, they don't match.
Oxymoron.
But that's what they're fighting for.
Yeah. Let's go to John at Flagstaff Hill. G'day, John.
Hey, gay boys. How you going?
Good, buddy.
Hey, gents. I'm not sure if it's saying that the sample should move first, but I think there's scope for the sample to move with the AFL and into some sort of kind of hybrid, more fluid England style where there's relegations, there's elevations, a chance for some of the other sample teams to one day also be elevated to AFL status.
Ooh. Oh, too hard,
EPL.
I'd dream because I'm a Nord man, but how could a sample club that turns over $2 million end up the very next year having to turn over $60 million? You just couldn't do it. And you don't have the facilities. It's too hard. It's too hard.
I think the scope there, instead of having a 14 sample finals, imagine if finals was the top 4 sample and the top 4 waffle, different conferences. I think the energy that would bring, people would jump on board.
Yeah, that I agree with.
That model might have been good, say, back in 1988.
Yeah.
I think it could have really worked because the comps weren't that far apart, as you know, especially at the top end.
Yeah.
They weren't that far apart. We regularly play night games against in the...
Yeah, I did as well.
We'd play East Fremantle or we'd play against Essendon or something like that. You weren't that far away back then. Like you say now, the gap is,
the gap's massive.
Huge as far as exactly that.
Love your creative thinking there, Johnny.
John. Thanks,
Here's
mate.
another John from Northgate.
Yeah, hi guys. Similar to what the other gentleman was saying, but what about bringing the amateur clubs, the local clubs here? For instance, Port districts could represent Port Adelaide area, and you have your just exactly like you did the EPL. Your top teams go up and your bottom teams go down. I'm a West Adelaide supporter. I'm sure I'll change my membership and go for my son's teams, my junior team, which is Paynham. And I'll be supporting Paynham.
Well done. Well done.
What do you think of that? Something like that, or?
Not too bad, John. I think once upon a time, you would love to create something like that. The issue would be if you're talking about the gap between SANFL and AFL running a club. Well, I'm not sure how big the gap would be between, say, Div 1 amateurs and the and the SANFL today.
How's this one? The SANFL will never be the same if Port are not there. Not that it bothers me because I'm a Port supporter. That's Vince Tripodi. Thanks, Vince. You're right. The rivalry in SANFL level to the, let's not call it the hatred, the respect two ways to Port as a rival, it's just not there anymore.
Well, it can't be because it's not the same model.
Right. It's just not the same.
It's just not the same model.
So it died years ago.
Yeah.
Vince, it died years ago. So if it died years ago and it was something that really did prop up the SANFL, no question. Me being a Nord man, I'd look at when are we playing Port, and they were the games. You know, they were the games. Glenelg did it against Port. Yep. Everyone did it against Port. Well, that's just sadly not there. So move on. Hello, Chris.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Yeah, good, Chris.
Hey, my son played in that VFL Grand Final this year, and I think, and against a team that is not aligned with a VFL club, an AFL club, and a very good team. And I think what people are missing, that in 4 years' time, if this 18-team second competition did eventuate, they're going to jettison, the AFL are going to jettison those 7 independent clubs that aren't part of the AFL 21 in the VFL. And what's going to happen then to those 7 clubs? I think there's a real opportunity for us to stay with our 10-team competition for the next 4 years, play it out, and during that 4 years, the 7 clubs in Queensland, because there's Southport and there's the 6 non-aligned clubs in Victoria, plus our 8 clubs, and maybe 1 or 2 elsewhere, could create the second best competition in Australia, because that second tier AFL competition is not going to be as good as our SANFL or those 6 independent VFL clubs or Southport.
Yeah, not a bad
point. I
think
there's a real opportunity to create a competition that would be attractive to television and maybe radio, and maybe get a amount of money that could be paid to our very hard-working SANFL boys that's a lot better than it is today.
Yeah, not bad idea, Chris. Did your son play for Werribee, did he?
No, my son played for Gold Coast.
Oh, wow. As a top-up?
No, my son was a listed AFL player and
What's
has
his
been for
name?
the last 14 years. Sam Day.
Oh, stop it. What's happening with him this year? Have they re-signed him, Chris?
I'm not allowed to say, but it's looking all right.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Good on
Not
you, Chris.
allowed to say that.
Yeah.
Well done.
Hey,
done.
I forgot the Southport Sharks were in that comp
They
too.
were one of
Proud
the
club.
richest, one of the richest
They have a good
state
setup.
league clubs.
Let me tell you,
in Australia.
I've been there.
Oh,
It's
God.
unbelievable.
Well, isn't that great news if Sam gets another contract?
Well, it was announced yesterday, I've been told, that he has been, so well done to Sam Day. He's going to get more years at the Gold Coast.
He was an original Gold Coast player. Well done.
Into a 14th season in 2024. That is outstanding news.
You just got to have a bit of luck with his body.
5 o'clock, right around the corner. News time and Caroline Wilson.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Shane here from Adelaide Exposed Concrete. It was really simple. We were introduced to Ryan. He came out and seen us at our premises, which was great. So we didn't have to come in. He came out and seen us. Friendly, understanding what we were looking for. Wasn't pushy. Wasn't like one of these salesmen that comes in and just wants you to sign on the dotted line. Gave us the opportunity to talk about what we wanted. And from there, the process was quite simple. Came in, saw the rest of the people that work at 5AA, sorted out some great radio ads. And from there, it's just grown into what it is today. The process is really simple. It's not daunting. It's not hard. The people that work here make it very simple and very easy to understand for anybody.
To get your message out there and grow your business, visit 5AA.com.au and hit the Advertise With Us link.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy tomorrow, a top of 24. With the 5 o'clock news, I'm David Bruce. 20 Australian citizens will soon travel back home after making it over the border from Gaza to Egypt. 2 family members of the group and a permanent resident have also been evacuated. Foreign Affairs says 65 Australians remain stranded in the Palestinian territory. Foreign Minister Penny Wong says everything possible is being done to get people out.
We have put to the Egyptians and others some 85 names, and you've seen it's taken a broad international effort to get the broad border crossing open. It's taken weeks.
Victorian police have spent the day searching the home of the woman at the centre of a mushroom lunch that left 3 people dead. Erin Patterson is yet to be interviewed after her arrest this morning. Federal Police technology detector dogs have been helping officers scouring the 49-year-old's home, where the meal believed to have contained death cap mushrooms was served in July. Guests Gail and Don Patterson and Heather Wilkinson died. Ian Wilkinson was critically hurt or made sick but recovered. Detective Inspector Dean Thomas says today's arrest is just the next step in their complex investigation, which is far from over.
This investigation has been subject to incredibly intense levels of public scrutiny and curiosity. I cannot think of another investigation that has generated this level of media and public interest, not only here in Victoria, but also nationally and internationally.
Some internet bills will soon go up and we're being urged to shop around for a better deal. The NBN has informed retailers some wholesale prices will rise from next month. Providers are likely to begin passing on those rises to consumers in coming weeks. ACCC Commissioner Anna Brakey says it's an opportunity to reassess our internet plans.
With cost of living pressures the way that they are, it's really important that customers are paying for what they need and not more than they need, but also to shop around between the retailers, have a look at the different plans that are in the market at the moment.
In Sydney, Security Vision shows Paul Tyson buying a hammer the morning before a school sports coach was killed. 21-year-old Lily James was brutally beaten to death in a bathroom at the St Andrew's Cathedral School. Police are investigating whether the attack was premeditated. The new Beatles song Now and Then will be released late tonight our time. But a short documentary featuring never-before-seen footage of how the song came together was today released on YouTube. The idea to rework a John Lennon demo was first looked at in the 1990s.
I think we kind of ran out of steam a bit and time, and it was like, well, I don't know, maybe we'll leave this one. Now and Then just kind of languished in a cupboard. And then in 2001, we lost George, which kind of took the wind out of our sails.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport. Australian all-rounder Mitch Marsh is out of the World Cup indefinitely after returning home for personal reasons. It's not clear whether a replacement squad player will be required. The Aussies face England on Saturday. Glenn Maxwell has been ruled out due to concussion after he fell off a golf cart. Former North Melbourne coach Danny Laidley has confirmed she's interested in making a return to coaching. Laidley has told Sports Entertainment Network she'd be interested in talking to West Coast about their vacant AFLW senior coaching role.
I miss that cut and thrust of competition. You know, coaching is coaching. The game's changed, it hasn't changed that much. And, you know, I feel like that I have all those skills still. You don't lose them over a period of time.
Now checking FIVEAA traffic.
Reducing greenhouse gas emissions in the production of South Australian copper is critical. It's happening now at BHP at Olympic Dam.
G'day there at Kensington Park. Debris on the road, Glenburn Road near Kensington Road. Drive carefully through there. Leeward Gardens, ladder has fallen off a truck. Freeway up track near the tunnels. Right-hand lane and middle lane are blocked at the moment. A crash to look out for at Montague Road near Smith Scully Road. You'll find cameras this afternoon. Barnett Road at Evanston and Fletcher Road at Largs Bay. Flight Centre's Big Red Sale has landed. Limited time offers on flights, cruises, tours and holiday packages. Head online or in-store now and save. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on FIVEAA.
And the FIVEAA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Partly cloudy tomorrow, a top of 24 after getting down to 11 overnight. Sunny for Saturday, top of 23, and sunny again on Sunday, 25. Currently, it's 24. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News tonight.
I'm Kate Collins. Tonight, the woman who cooked the notorious deadly mushroom meal arrested. We'll have the latest from police. Decision Day, will SA school teachers go on strike again? Sick of the scammers, how the big telcos and banks are combining to defeat the dodgy calls. And we'll have your ultimate guide to Pageant Day. See the full story live on 9 News at 6 p.m. and on 9 Now.
Introducing the 2023 World Performance Car of the Year. The Kia EV6 GT, 430 kilowatts of power and 740 Newton meters of torque. With its unique Australian-tuned GT suspension and steering, The Kia EV6 exceeds all expectations. The Kia EV6 GT, the most powerful Kia ever built.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Seniors Card is celebrating 30 years of helping older South Australians enjoy life and age well. To celebrate, why not plan a lunch with friends, a weekend away, or start that home renovation? From travel and entertainment to home and garden. Benefit from a world of savings today with Seniors Card. You can even travel free on Adelaide Metro public transport. To join in the celebrations and save, visit seniorscard.sa.gov.au.
New Zealand, spectacular, safe and friendly. The perfect destination for a magical getaway. Right now, Holiday Wonders Mitcham have an exclusive 17-day fully inclusive package. It's our best deal ever. Save up to $980 per couple. Fly direct from Adelaide with Air New Zealand, touring North and South Islands with meals, accommodation and so much included, with more highlights than any comparable New Zealand holiday. Call now or visit holidaywonders.com.au. Holiday Wonders, Belair Road, Mitcham.
How to be excellent at home. Pop off those shoes, put on those house pants, pop on the kettle or pop a bottle. Let's get comfy. And before you reach for the remote, reach for the Frederick Street finest. Will it be apricot and coconut slice, dark chocolate cranberries or spicy baked crackers? Look for Frederick Street finest in the fancy blue packet at your local Drake's supermarket. Be excellent anywhere with Frederick Street Finest, devoted to excellence.
Business notifications out of hand? Thrive Command Centre keeps your customer emails, texts and social messages all in one place, so you never miss a message. Get it free today at thrive.com.au. T's and C's apply. Free plans have limited functionality.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the FIVEAA Sports Show.
8 minutes after 5. Coming up on the show this hour, we have three-time premiership star, Richmond Tigers' very own Jack Riewoldt. Geez, he caused some PTSD, I reckon, for some people here in South Australia a few years ago. 36ers coach CJ Bruton to join us as well. Plenty more of your calls as well. 8223 0000. You can have your say on the AFL reserves discussion around Port Adelaide and the Crows staying in the SANFL. We'll do more of that in a moment. But first, it's time to welcome in Caroline Wilson, all thanks to Harvey Norman Clearance Centre. Great range with manufacturer's warranties. Harvey Norman Clearance Centre, 919 Marion Road, Marion.
Sweet Caroline. Yes, each and every Thursday we get Caroline on the line, thanks to the Harvey Norman Clearance Centre. Caroline, welcome. How are you?
I'm great, Tim. How are you, Stephen?
Yeah, great, Caro. Have you got good news about the fixture?
What, yeah, was it the 16th, you said, maybe?
Well, it won't be out this week, and it won't be out next week because they wouldn't release it over a Melbourne Cup week here in Victoria. It'll be out the week after that, Tuesday or Wednesday. So I know that's a little bit disappointing. It'll be more like mid-November. I think the AFL have found this fixture harder than any other fixture they've done.
Why
it
is
just
that?
gets harder. Sorry?
Why is that?
Well, gather round obviously complicates matters. I mean, in a good way, but it obviously makes it more difficult.
And the opening round you spoke about?
The extra game, the opening round that we've been talking about on this show since August, I reckon, is starting to take shape. The buys, people are carrying on about the buys. Look, in the end, there will be buys up as early as round 3 for some clubs. But I think it's good that you have the special 4 games in that, what is, for Victoria, the Labor Day weekend. Is it South Australia as well? I should know that.
We do have a Adelaide Cup Day in March, but we don't in April.
We've got live golf, we've got all sorts, so you better get a fixture that works around our social life over here, Caro.
Wasn't Adelaide just named the coolest city in the world?
Correct.
Yeah, how's that?
Correct.
Unbelievable. Congratulations.
Was that part of your visit at Gather Round that perhaps got us
No,
the tick?
but I have no doubt. Seriously, I have no doubt that the reconstructed Adelaide Oval has a lot to do with that. And the Fringe Festival that a friend of mine has just joined the board of, and all the arts. It's just it's extraordinary what's going on in South Australia at the moment with WOMAD, the Fringe Festival, the Arts Festival, Gather Round. Anyway, getting back to the fixture.
We're just
South
thespians, Caro.
The South, well, your gallery is one of the most beautiful galleries I've ever visited. I love the South Australian, the Adelaide National Gallery. Getting back to the fixture, so it will be Carlton and Brisbane on the Friday night. It will be Richmond and the Gold Coast on the Saturday.
Okay.
What the AFL haven't decided yet is whether to open that round even earlier in March on the Thursday night, so a full week before the Richmond-Carlton, what was once the season opener between Richmond and Carlton, or whether they start on Friday night with Brisbane-Carlton. My belief is it will be, I think, GWS versus either Essendon or Melbourne, and that will probably be on the Saturday, and Sydney versus Essendon or Melbourne, potentially on the Saturday, and GWS versus Collingwood on the Thursday, or it'll be the other way around. Sydney will open the season. And so it was going to be Essendon. Now Melbourne has entered the equation. They've had a big week, haven't they, at Melbourne?
Oh, yeah.
And those 4 games will be standalone, and then all of the normal round 1 will be played the following week, and then the buys start coming into fruition. So, for example, Brisbane will travel to Perth in the second week, and then in the third week, which will be Easter, Brisbane will... That's why Brisbane, Easter being a bit early too, Brisbane will host Collingwood on that Thursday night before Good Friday. Do they have 2 games on Good Friday? I know, look, there's a new CEO, and I know we've known he was coming for a long time, but there was a lot of stuff that just needed to change. I mean, Andrew Dillon still hasn't announced a replacement for Brad Scott. We've talked about that many times, that sort of footy role. But did you see that Jeff Walsh has come in?
Consultant.
Yeah, so Jeff Walsh, of course, was at St Kilda as head of footy, only lasted a few months because he couldn't basically afford the time. He's also caring for his ageing mother, and he wanted to share the load there with his family. I wasn't sure when that story came out whether that was actually true, but I believe it is true. There was no other problems at St Kilda for Jeff Walsh. Before that, of course, he went to North Melbourne and oversaw that review that saw the coach sack, David Noble, and the CEO leave, and the footy department completely restructured. And before that, he was actually consulting at the AFL, working on the sort of things he'll be working on now, which is what they do with the second-tier competition, what they do with the Tasmanian list build, where they play the AFLW in future years. It's going to be really interesting where that ends up. But certainly, and I gather you've been talking about the South Australian situation with the Crows and Port Adelaide. And look, I've got absolutely no doubt that the Crows and Port will be playing in a national reserves competition, I believe, before their current contract is up with the Sandful. I just think it's too important. I don't want to rock the boat here, but I just think it's crazy that if Tasmania come into the competition, they're going to be playing in a national reserves competition. So I just don't think it really works to have the... I know you've got a much stronger second-tier competition, but I'm not sure it really works the way it is at the moment. And when the AFL had their big exec meeting in South Australia last week, I know that topic was front of mind, both when they met at Alberton and then later on when they met with the Crows as well that afternoon. I think they were there for 2 days, weren't they?
Yeah, correct.
Well, so do you think that second-tier comp, if it's pushed by Jeff Walsh, we just had Chris Davies on saying that he's met with the AFL on numerous occasions to fast-track it sooner rather than later. Yeah, I think you're right. It'd be an easy guess to say it'll be done before the end of the 27 season. Could it be as soon as next year?
No.
No.
And it won't be 2024. Andrew Dillon, Andrew Dillon, I think, said to the South Australian footy bosses, as in, Matthew Richardson and also Tim Silvers, that despite the view of the two clubs that they want to be in a national reserves competition, the Sandful isn't as strong as it used to be, and the numbers in terms of draft aren't coming into the main competition as strongly as they were some years ago. Port Adelaide still finished in the top 4 at the end of the season. The Adelaide Crows only just missed out on making the final. So the AFL's view is that footy in South Australia isn't struggling as much as, I think it suits the argument of it to say it's struggling. It's obviously not struggling too badly. But I think it's just... And there's also no certainty that West Australia will come in the Eagles and the Dockers will come in the same year as the South Australian AFL club. So there's a lot to do there, but Jeff Walsh will have a very big say in that. And if only there were more footy bosses around, like Jeff Walsh, really, who were working in the game, because it seems like a lot of ageing talent is going out of the game and not enough young talent is coming into the game, in my view. But anyway, that's just a separate issue.
Well, I think Jimmy Bartell's a voice of reason. God, I can't believe he didn't snag something. The AFL, we get on really well with him here, and he flagged his intent to, and they've gone for a true tried old Jeff Walsh. I would have gone for a Jimmy Bartell personally.
Well, obviously there's going to be some more positions coming in, and I don't think it's going to be Jimmy Bartell though. And I think as good as Laura Kane is, she is 33, and obviously to have some experience around her, particularly with these big decisions, although she's been pretty firm on a few things. I do applaud the AFL. I know that they wanted to do an off-site exec meeting, and Tanya Hosh's recent medical issues meant that it worked well to have it in South Australia. But I think the Andrew Dillon view is that the executive needs to spend far more time around Australia and not be so Victorian-centric, and do more meetings like the one they've just had in South Australia, which he really enjoyed. And also some big decisions were sort of ticked off there or discussed, certainly, including the decision that's come out in recent days about the soft cap being increased.
Yeah, by 250,000. Hey, can you just go back? When was the AFL executive here? Why didn't Tim and I get called to deliver pizzas or at least a couple of little froffies? What?
Good call.
Well, surely you know that they were in South Australia.
No.
They met in Adelaide last week.
No. Why didn't you text me, Caro? How was I meant to know if you didn't text me? Could have gate crashed their party with some Rusden.
You run one of the most influential football programs in Australian radio, and you're based in Adelaide, and you didn't know that the AFL executive met.
Well, I reckon I reckon you only knew because every now and then a blind squirrel trips over a nut, Caro, and that was your little nut. You just tripped over it.
I think that is a very insulting comment.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Stephen, go to your room.
They were in South Australia Tuesday and Wednesday.
Goodness me.
There were meetings held. There was a presentation both at Crows and at Alberton, and the exec actually met at Alberton. The entire AFL executive met at Alberton last Tuesday.
Wow. Timmy, you're the 7-time, 8-time, 5-time, 4-time. How did you not know they're at your home club?
I was the doorman. Didn't recognise them.
You should have.
As they were walking in.
Stephen, they were also at Crowland as well. So don't be pointing the finger at your colleague.
All right. Now, Don Pike, CEO of West Coast.
Wow.
Well, this is a weird story to me. Now, this was something that Damien Barrett, has been reporting that Don Pike, or speculating that Don Pike would end up at West Coast, not in a coaching role, nor in a football role, but as CEO. He's been talking about this since early August, I believe. I thought it was on the cards, and then 2 weeks, and I also thought that Trevor Nisbet was going to finish up this year. We also were starting to wonder whether Adam Simpson would survive, and then there was a period, Stephen, when it looked like both Nisbet and Simpson would survive. I think that the two men, I don't think the relationship was what it was, I've got to say. I think that sort of things started to go a little bit sour there July, August, and it's still amazing to me that Adam Simpson did survive after the season he had. Anyway, the board voted to keep Adam Simpson, and Justin Langer, we know, had a lot to do with that. Trevor Nisbet, it was announced, was going to stay for one more year, see out his contract, and then and in that time, maybe Ben in a new CEO. And then an announcement came out 2 weeks ago from Sydney that Don Pike was going to stay at Sydney. He loved his job. He loved being a senior assistant to John Longmire, and that was it. Well, no, Trevor Nisbet is going again, and Don Pike is the new CEO of West Coast. So West Coast have come back to Don Pike, and I think in the end Trevor Nisbet is going earlier than he thought he was going to go. And he'll probably get his payout, as he should, they've had a few hiccups, big hiccups over the long service that Trevor Nisbet has served, but that obviously, if you're at a footy club long enough, that's not surprising. The longest-serving CEO in the AFL, done an unbelievable job, and he's going up. Look, how Don Pike will go as CEO remains to be seen. There's a lot to do there, and I think in the end, they had to bring in someone new. Will he be the right man? Well, that remains to be seen. Unfortunately, in his last senior role at the Crows, it ended badly. You can't gild the lily there. And it'll be interesting to see how he goes in an administrative role. But certainly the Swans have loved having him as a senior assistant.
And Peter Bell out of his role at FIVEAA as well in the West.
There's a lot going on at FIVEAA, and I haven't quite got to the bottom of it yet.
Yeah.
But there had to be changes there. I mean, they had such a disappointing season. For how long can this club underachieve?
Yeah, well, they lose too many players for mine. John Adams, tell us about him. Sadly passed.
Well, yeah, he's passed, and he's left a lot of drama in his wake, Stephen. John Adams was a bit of a godfather figure, massive West Australian power broker with guys like Neil Hamilton and so many others who were all part of the rise of Andrew Demetriou. In fact, John Adams was best man at Andrew Demetriou's first wedding. Right. They were very, very close. He was a mentor to Andrew. He was one of the people who got Andrew into the role of head of the Players Association, then the top footy role at the AFL. I think that it's ended really badly for a lot of people who had money invested with Don Adams, and you've read about the multi-million-dollar losses and various bookmakers talking about this. People in footy are absolutely shocked by what has happened, and I think there's definitely been fallout for some of John Adams' closest friends, including, I'm not sure about Andrew Demetriou, but certainly Ian Collins, the former footy boss of the AFL and president of Carlton.
I don't want to sound rude, but I've never heard of John Adams.
Well, you didn't know that the entire leadership of the AFL was in your own backyard last week, so that doesn't surprise me.
Oh, wow. I bet you John Adams is a Victorian.
Victorian with strong West Australian connection.
All right. Well, I opened myself up for that, Caro. I do apologise for the squirrel joke. It was a gag that fell flat. Love your work, Caro. We'll speak to you next Thursday.
We'll be talking on Oaks Day next week, and I reckon there'll be a bit moving around the AFL as well with Melbourne Football Club, and what their latest chapter is will be interesting as well.
Well, we'll be wearing fascinators on Thursday.
What are they? Please don't.
That's correct. And nothing else.
See you, Caro.
Time to go.
Harvey Norman Clearance Centre. From cooking appliances to washing machines, dishwashers, TVs and more, there's new stock arriving weekly, all with manufacturer's warranties. Harvey Norman Clearance Centre, 919 Marion Road, Marion. I do take back that little blind squirrel nut thing. Why, I am ashamed of ourselves as a sporting team that not one of us had the nose to the ground, the shoulder to the
last
for
Tuesday.
2 days. The entire
last Tuesday, or this one just gone?
No, last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday, she said.
Well, Caroline was on last Thursday. Could have mentioned it then.
Well, hang on, it might be this Tuesday then.
Because we would have been, now
Just
we're 9 days away.
Because Timmy's right.
If it's only 2 days, well, it's not too bad.
24 minutes after 5. Let's check your traffic anyway. We'll get you more of your calls in a moment. Copper is critical to the energy transition, and the responsible production of South Australian copper is happening now at BHP.
Afternoon at Kensington Park. Debris on the road there, Glenburn Road near Kensington Road. Drive carefully through there. Leeward Gardens, ladder has fallen off a truck. Freeway up track near the tunnels. Right-hand lane and middle lane are blocked. Montague crashed there. Montague Road near Smiths Gully Road, and we're quite slow south road at Theberton. Cameras, Eastern Parade, Gilman, and Commercial Road at Port Adelaide. Get a taste of summer with the new Aporto. No, it's not. Get a taste of summer with the new Atropo range at Aporto. Try the new Atropo bowl or wrapper or one of the new pineapple dessert packs. Limited time only at Aporto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G.
You don't live in a home. You grow up in one. At Metricon, we didn't become the most trusted by being the cheapest. We did it by caring more. For over 45 years, it's our commitment to doing things the right way, the Metricon way. And right now, get the stylish 4-bedroom Delta 22 with peak facade from just $239,900. Metricon. Love where you live. Conditions apply. Excludes land and site costs. BLD 231776.
It's official. Prawn season is here, and SA King Prawns is the place to go for the freshest catch. When Tony, Heather and their crew aren't at sea, they're selling their delicious catch in the SA King Prawn store in Edinburgh North and SA Farmers Market Paraka. Pick up 2 kilos of raw medium prawns for $35. Buy 2 cartons and get $10 off. And Coffin Bay oysters from $15 a dozen. SA King Prawns, Edinburgh North, open 6 days a week. And Sundays, SA Farmers Market Paraka.
Give us a call, lines available. Who in their car, in their shed, their boat, out the kitchen, making the Barbie new John Adams? Who? Hands up in this room. So it wasn't that dumb a question, everyone.
No.
Getting smashed on the text line.
I was with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Caro's brought up a dude we don't know.
I'll let you go out on the boat on your own.
Oh, God. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Buckle up for a dose of extreme racing like Adelaide has never seen before. It's the first ever Adelaide Jamboree.
You know, I saw some overhead photos of the last drag meeting. It was unbelievable. So you're not going to want to miss this. You will witness Adelaide's fastest sport compact drag racing cars. They'll be battling it out at the Garrett Adelaide Jamboree. Now they'll have a huge lineup of high-octane racing brackets guaranteed to entertain. Don't miss it.
So I like events that it's not all about the event. So it's not always about the drag racing. If you're there, you'll love it. But how's this for kids? Free rides and entertainment. Check out the over 80 show cars and the Shannon Show and Shine competition. Plus there's burnout car demos, trader rally and more. I mean, that's an event.
It's an event. The Garrett Adelaide Jamboree Saturday, that's this Saturday, November 4th at Dragway at the Bend. Drag racing is back, so don't miss out. For event info and tickets, visit jamboree.com.au.
It's Black Friday month at Cheapest Chips.
Cheapest Chips.
Save $200 on a Blaupunkt 43-inch Android TV, now only $299. Save $50 on a lightweight carpet cleaner with separate tanks for clean and dirty water, now just $99. And save a whopping $200 on a Prinetti thermo cooker, now just $399. Plus save $170 on a 203-litre top-mount fridge, now just $399. Get Black Friday savings for the entire month of November at Cheapest Chips, in-store and online.
Get the garden you want at Garden Grove. Wander through Garden Grove's beautiful nursery, blooming with thousands and thousands of plants, greenery, and all the colours of the rainbow. There are plants for inside and plants for out. For the garden you want, see Garden Grove, Golden Grove Road, Golden Grove.
Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, the garden that I want.
Phone 8251 1111 for delivery to all areas.
This weekend at Coles, earn double barbecue credits towards my free Curtis Stone barbecue collection. Spend $20 in one transaction and scan your flybys to earn 2 barbecue credits this weekend.
Offer ends November 5th. In-store only. Exclusions and T's and C's apply.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the FIVEAA Sports Show.
From our position, both Port and the Crows are in the sample competition through to the end of 2027, and that's our current plans at the moment. We completely understand there's conversations about the national reserves, and that's a topic for the AFL to work through. We've spoken with the AFL, as we do regularly. We'll be heavily involved in any of those discussions and consultations because sample and the waffle play a really important part in the fabric of football right across Australia.
29 after 5. That's the voice of Matthew Doldig, who was on with us earlier from the sample.
Yeah, and look, he's right in everything he says. They're there while they're there. They'll have no negotiation. It'll just be, here's your letter. We want to break the contract. We're out. Here's your year's notice.
I do like the fact I asked the question about the modelling based on just the 8 clubs, and they've done that, and they feel very confident of moving forward.
I would be. The people who voted Adelaide the coolest place in the world clearly haven't seen the FIVEAA Foodland live feed. Well, that's rude. That's rude.
Well,
can we do a shout out?
Might be a bit accurate.
We've got Greg from Works Electrical, WORX Electrical, and Mike from MGK Accounting next door.
Yeah, I think Chris is in there as well.
Rusden Black Guts.
Well, it's nice.
Probably just a little cheap pepper tree, but you know, we might run in a Rusden Black Guts.
Yeah.
So the Sammy D Foundation, they donated money, and we love people. When we donate, you can come in here for an experience, you get fed, look at us, and it's not that exciting.
Yeah. So you're trying to just jazz it up a bit.
But to the team, to donate to that, well done. Great cause.
No, it's a
So
good one.
hope you have a great time.
Hey, just
in next door.
a little shout out for those that haven't seen it, Sam, and I know that you haven't. Well, the doco for Pretty Bloody Special.
What is that?
That's our Strikers girls.
Yes,
Their journey towards winning the actual championship.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I've actually have seen it, which was awesome. Well, that is running 3:20 p.m. tomorrow before they play their game against the Sixers. So that's the Strikers girls versus the Sixers tomorrow.
So if you get there early
on Fox,
it'll be. Oh, is it on Fox?
on Fox.
I thought.
On Fox because
I get you.
Yeah, it's been run there. So it's called Pretty Bloody Special, and that's exactly what the captain, Talia McGrath, said when she was on the stage collecting it. She said, "This is pretty bloody special." So they decided to make the doco about that. How good's that? Yeah,
that
brilliant.
is superb. Hey, when have we got Jack on?
Jack Rewalt.
Jumpin' Jack
Well, he's
Rewalt.
going to come up straight after the break. We've got the 5:30 headlines.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowey and Timmy G. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
David Bruce with the latest news headlines. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the government's number one priority is to tackle the cost of living crisis. 20 Australians have managed to get out of Gaza through the Rafah border crossing, but there are still more than 60 Australians stranded in the Palestinian territory. The woman at the centre of the mushroom poisoning case in Victoria was today arrested and her home has been searched. And Australian all-rounder Mitch Marsh is out of the World Cup squad, at least for now. He's flying back to Perth for personal reasons. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Reducing greenhouse gas emissions in the production of South Australian copper is critical. It's happening now at BHP at Olympic Dam.
At St Peters, look out for a crash. Paynham Road near Stephen Terrace. Horrendous delays. Avoid that intersection at all costs this afternoon. Crash at Woodville, Port Road near Woodville Road and Kensington Park. Got debris on the road. Glenburn Road near Kensington Road. Drive carefully through there. Busy South Road at Theberton. Slow Tapley's Hill Road at Glenelg North with the camera at Warner Road at Semaphore. Freedom's summer sofa sale is on now. Get up to 25% off selected sofas, living and dining furniture. Sale ends Monday, only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The latest forecast, mostly sunny tomorrow, a top of 23, currently 23. More news at 6, and as it happens on 5AA.
5AA Breakfast.
A significant announcement from the AEU. Our good friend Andrew Gold, the head of the Australian Education Union, has alerted media outlets that there will be an announcement forthcoming
informing Adelaide.
At a time when the state government gave the nurses a 3% increase and the AMBOs a 2.5% increase, the union is still asking for 8.4% in the first year. Now, this has been the sticking point.
6 a.m. weekdays on 5AA.
Looking to make a little extra in time for the holidays? You can maximise your gift shopping budget with the money you make from CMAX. Just head to CMAX to find out more about taking part in clinical trials. If you're eligible, you'll stay at the CMAX facility, get free meals, and get paid for your time. There are new studies all the time, potentially making a difference to thousands of lives. Check out cmax.com.au to register interest today. That's cmax.com.au.
No, it's a pleasure. So look around at your leisure.
So why buy an Island Star caravan? Well, there's thousands of them on the roads all over Australia. They're built for luxury and to stand the test of time. With 5 decades of service to Australia, go with the people you can trust. Knowles Island Star Caravans. You'll love the way they do business.
Knowles Caravans, Knowles Caravans, Knowles Caravans, Knowles Caravans.
Let New Zealand take your breath away on an exclusive 17-day getaway with Holiday Wonders Mitcham. Fly direct from Adelaide with Air New Zealand and experience the best of what the North and South Islands have to offer, with meals, accommodation and so much more included, and more highlights than any comparable New Zealand trips. Right now, it's our best value ever. Save up to $980 per couple. Call now or visit holidaywonders.com.au. Holiday Wonders, Belair Road, Mitcham.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Spring has traditionally been the peak period for selling your home. As the temperature increases, so do the buyer numbers. But one thing that isn't rising is stock levels. This means there's even more demand for those properties that are on the market. Home values are at record highs and stock levels are at record lows. So there's a great chance to achieve a premium price for your home. With a team of unrivalled experience, Toop and Toop knows what it takes to maximise your results. Go to toop.com.au to find out more.
Remember when milk came in bottles? I mean real glass bottles. It somehow tasted better and it was better for the planet. That's why the FIVEAA Milk Company have partnered with the Other Way to bring you milk in a glass bottle. The reduction in single-use plastic bottles will be phenomenal. In the millions. Join the fight to reduce plastic and look for milk refill stations in your supermarket. Thanks to FIVEAA Milk Company and the Other Way. Visit fluoriomilkco.com.au for more.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
24 minutes to 6. Adelaide 36ers coach CJ Bruton will join us very, very soon. And we've been talking all the way through the day about the AFL reserves and Port Adelaide and the Crows in the sample. We're going to get back to your calls on that very shortly. 8223 0000 is the number.
Looking forward to this, Timmy G. The Bright Side, Jack Rewald. It's a Simon & Schuster publication. It is in all good bookstores. We flick through it. It's a ripper. What a career. What a bloke. He joins us now. Jack, thanks for your time.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Who come up with the title?
I think it might have been Simon & Schuster, but I mean, it is fitting. Probably not the greatest title for the town of Adelaide. A very infamous night and day. Richmond Football Club and the Adelaide Football Club. So we'll get that out of the way early on. But no, good to have the opportunity to do something like this.
Well done. Are you happy with it? Did you correct all the, let's call them, misperceptions?
I suppose I think the back half of my sort of journey's been doing that a little bit. It's funny, footy's a weird vehicle for people to sort of pigeonhole you or sort of find out who you are, because it's such a highly emotional game, and you guys would know that it's just, you can't judge a book by its cover, which is obviously a bit of a pun in the current situation. My journey's been of not only finding myself and finding where I sort of fit into all this, but also people sort of figuring out who the real me is. And it's been a really interesting journey, and obviously the lens of that's been through a few vehicles like footy and a few other things.
Hey Jack, the forward starts with Gerard Whateley, says he could have been destined to become the Clown Prince. And I see that as part of your finding your way and maturing as a footballer. I remember seeing Cam Mooney being interviewed by Mike Sheen, and he said, I had a different hairdo, every couple of months, and he was trying to be something that he wasn't, and he said, I ended up just getting short back and sides, and I grew up that day. Did you have a moment like that where you sort of went, rightio, this is it?
Yeah, well, I think that the Clown Prince line's an interesting one too, because if you went through every single one of my school reports growing up, there would have been a mention of the class clown through there at some point.
Did you have my report?
But no, probably my crucible moment there where not everything clicked, but it had a really big impact in my life was the passing of my cousin Madeline. And Maddie and I were only a month apart, born in the same hospital, sort of grew up not together. She was in Queensland for a period of time, but just due to the fact that we were very similar in age in the same family, we did a lot of things together when we were together. So that was probably I don't want to call it a light bulb moment, but it was a moment of, I sort of look back on now with reflection and think, my gosh, how much my path sort of shifted, thinking sort of shifted, and life sort of shifted in that point in time.
We'll get on to the foundation because you do terrific stuff there with Nick. But in the book, you write, I want to be remembered as the most passionate player Richmond has ever seen towards their club and his teammates, and be remembered as a great captain. You wrote that when you were pretty young. In hindsight now, how do you think you went?
Well, in hindsight, obviously, I captained the club a few times when Trent was injured and whatnot. But I feel like, so I wrote that on a piece of paper when I was staying with a billet family in maybe my first or second year. And I think at that point in time, and sort of on reflection through that moment, we talk about when Madeline passed away. So one thing you can do sometimes as an AFL footballer is you can resent the fans sometimes because they're so passionate and they ride that emotional roller coaster and they take their frustration out on the club or the playing group when you aren't going as well as what they expect. And that obviously happened early on in my career. And there was like elements of resentment there because you sort of say, well, you haven't seen the hard work that we put in and we know that we're on the right path, but we're not doing it as well as what we'd like to be doing. And yes, we'd like to be doing it better. But one of the lessons that I learned is that whilst I'm an extremely passionate person and a highly emotional person as well, I started to cotton on that I was in this really privileged position where I could be so passionate and so emotional about something like a football club, but I actually had influence on it. And I could go out and I got to put the jumper on 347 times for the Tigers. And there's people that love the Tigers possibly more than me that never got the chance to do that. And that started to dawn on me a little bit. It was just the fact that I got to play because I was playing didn't make me more or less passionate than the people that were sitting in the grandstand. And I think that's an element of growing up and understanding the industry as a whole, but also understanding the weight of what a football club can serve in terms of just people's lives and because it really is our life when you're living in it, but it is people's life from just going on the weekend.
That's deep, Jack. I haven't seen that element of you. Now, from afar, 17 years, I've watched and called your footy an amazing career. It'd take me a year to bloody read it out, but that's really deep. Have you gotten deep as you've gotten older?
No, I just think you sort of start to understand a little bit more about. I think the biggest thing for us, and obviously for a lot of listeners here on FIVEAA, 2017 was the year of promise for the Crows supporters, and unfortunately they stumbled at that final hurdle. But it was the year of, I think it was the year of just Richmond finally understanding who we were, and that creating that sense of belonging. Now, people ask me about grand finals, what's my favourite, and blah blah blah, and all that sort of stuff. And 2017 is my favourite, and it's my favourite for the fact that we connected generations of people together that were downtrodden because they were Richmond supporters, or teased at work because they were Richmond supporters, or just unhappy because they were Richmond supporters, and all of a sudden you connect a bunch of generations together. And I mean, it still happens to this day where people come up to me and they go, I thank you so much for what you did, because my parents or my grandfather made me go for Richmond, and I never saw success, and I thought about leaving and going for another team, but I stuck fat, and I finally understand what it's like to be a Richmond supporter. So I think in your older sort of age and your wisdom, you start to see the bigger picture of what football actually is. Like it is a glitzy and glamour sport sometimes, but it's also it's an Australian way of life, and to have that opportunity to play in it and then now sort of relive that a little bit through a book is something that's pretty special, and not everyone gets to do.
No, well done. Did Damien Hardwick make you, or you players made him?
It's an interesting comment. No, I think I think that's probably the beauty of the Hardwick relationship and Richmond relationship and playing group, and probably that core bunch of older guys is. I probably think draw similarities between the Bill Belichick and Tom Brady is that I don't think anyone makes anyone, but I think people help each other become the best versions of themselves. And for me, that's probably where it sits, is that we became force multipliers for each other, that our best versions of ourselves served the coach, and the coach's best version served us, and allowed us to be obviously Richmond and be that juggernaut through that period of time there.
Jack, Mr. Brightside's the title in 17. When did you know the Killers were the performers, and how spontaneous or premeditated was your appearance?
Oh, no. Do we have to?
I barrack for Port.
Well, you can listen through gritted teeth here, but no, look, late in after the prelim against the Giants, a mate of mine, and I've written about this in the book, he actually texted me, he said, what odds you and the Killers upstage after you win the granny next week? And in my sort of haste, I said, yep, no worries, absolute Monty to happen. And I just had it in my mind that I was going to storm the stage at the end of the granny if we won, but I floated the idea with the media department, and they finally said, yeah, you actually might want to run this past the AFL if we want to make this happen. So there was a very select few people that knew that it was on the cards.
Yeah, right.
And as they can say, the rest is history. And funnily enough, I got a text message from Rory Sloane, who I'd known for a while, probably a week after the grand final, and all he wrote was, "Bugger you. You've lived my perfect day out."
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately that's sort of the cut and thrust of a grand final. There's a winner, there's a loser, and for myself and the Richmond players and the Richmond faithful, we obviously came out on top that day.
In the book, you talk about a moment with, I think, Alex Rance, who you say is a fierce competitor, but you saw guys after a loss being, chummy and happy and all the rest of it, and you went off. You got heavily criticised for it. Did you change after that, or did you still not like that moment? Because, and you mention it, for older generations, it's like, well, that's just not a done thing. For Stephen and I, we just ran straight off the field, and if you caught us by chance, we might shake your hand, but we keep moving. It is completely different now. That moment must have been an important one for you and your teammates.
Yeah, look, I think the game certainly shifted now. Never more so the current day game has there been so much amicability after a game of football. And that game that you're speaking about was a closely contested game against Fremantle over at FIVEAA, and Hayden Ballantyne kicked a goal at the end of the game. And there was obviously with a close loss comes that sense of what if and frustration and whatnot. And probably for me that there was just a colliding of my emotions sort of got the better of me. I yelled at Rancy, who was a Western Australian boy, and chatting to a couple of the Dockers players to get off the ground because we just get out of there after losing a close game. And the TV cameras just happened to be on me, and it sort of was a bit of a perfect storm, really. But yeah, the more you think about it, the more it's just a heat of the battle, heat of the moment type of action. And sometimes I miss a little bit of that now in the current days. That have we lost a little bit of the passion for actually winning, or being frustrated about losing a really close one. So it's it was an interesting situation, and clearly I got some repercussions from it. Certainly from the elder statesmen in the media that may have had a bit of a Carlton bias as well, that sort of thought they might take the one wood to me.
Hey, you're the ambassador for the new Tassie team. Where's that at? Is it going to happen? Are the governments all going to get together? Will you get an inner city stadium with a roof?
I mean, the conversation at the moment clearly is slanted towards the stadium and having a stadium, and that's a key trigger in the actual contract with the AFL, roofed stadium. So that will always be on the forefront until it's 100% signed off. But look, for the time being, we're business as usual. Setting up a professional sporting organisation is a big job, and one that at the moment there's being undertaken by a 9-person board and myself, and we'll start to recruit people to help us set the organisation up. But it's an exciting one. It's an exciting one for obviously Australia and the AFL, but it's an extremely exciting one for Tasmanians who love football and have loved football for a long time, that finally the dream of having their own team and watching Tasmanians play for its state in the highest competition in front of its own people is not far away. And there's plenty of talent in the AFL and AFLW and even in the coaching ranks that hopefully we can look to build on and secure and be a part of this new licence.
Jack, thanks for your time. We're going to read out the resume because you have to with it like this. 17-year career, 3-time premiership player, 3-time All-Australian, 3-time Coleman medalist, 12-time leading goal kicker, vice-captain in those premiership years, Jack Dyer medal times 2. It was a mighty career, 347 games. It's a great read. Jack, thanks for your time.
Thanks very much. And there's nothing like the pressure cauldron of trying to do an interview when you've got 2 children banging on the lounge room door wanting to be fed. So I'm off to go and do some dad duties.
Good on you.
Good work, mate.
Jack Rewalt, The Bright Side. It's a Simon & Schuster publication. It's in all good bookstores. Pick it up, read it. It's a ripper. Jack Rewalt, our guest.
Outstanding to hear from him. Let's check your traffic. Copper is critical to the energy transition, and the responsible production of South Australian copper is happening now. BHP.
Crash at Happy Valley to look out for on the drive home. Chandler's Hill Road near Eastern Road. St Peter's, a nasty crash there. Payne Road near Stephen Terrace. Horrendous delays. Absolutely awful. Avoid that intersection at all costs on the drive home. Burst Watermain slowing things up at Salisbury East. McIntyre Road near Peacock Road. Look out for cameras. Coventry Road, Cutler, and Galway Avenue at Collinswood. More great specials at Foodland. 125 gram punnets of Australian jumbo blueberries, $3 each. Blackberries and raspberries are $3.90 each. Ends tomorrow at Foodland for mighty South Aussies. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sport Show. Each week on the 5AA Sport Show, Rowey and Timmy G go courtside with the Adelaide 36ers. Catch the 36ers coach as well as star players each week with Rowey and Timmy G, thanks to ACID Transport Solutions. ACID Transport Solutions need more drivers. For a career that'll take you places, speak to ACID Transport Solutions.
Copper is critical to the energy transition, including the manufacture of electric cars, wind turbines and solar panels. The need for responsibly produced South Australian copper is clear. It's happening now at BHP. Visit bhp.com/critical.
Reimagine your home, elevate your life at 88 O'Connell Luxury Apartments. There's 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments now selling from $1.2 million. 88 O'Connell is redefining residential luxury with amenities never seen before in Adelaide. From a New York-inspired sky deck, Mercato fresh produce market, wine bar, integrated wellness studios, sauna, pools and allied healthcare. To learn more, visit our display suite or inquire at 88o'connell.com. The 2023 Multicultural Festival is on Sunday the 12th of November in Victoria Square, Tundanyanga, Adelaide. Brought to you by the State Government, this festival celebrates South Australia's diverse community and cultural harmony. Come along and try a new international cuisine, learn a cultural dance, watch amazing performances, or get creative with traditional arts and crafts. A day for the whole family. Entry is free too. Gates open at 11 a.m. Find out more at multicultural.sa.gov.au.
Send invoices, pay bills, send appointment reminders. Want to streamline your business management tools? Thrive helps you manage communications, payments, schedules and more, all in one place. Search Thrive, THRYV, today.
Get great value on entertaining this Christmas at Coles. Like Coles Frozen Entertaining 3 cheese and chive croquettes, $7 every day. Or Coles 125 gram camembert, just $3 every day. That's great value, hands down, at Coles.
Breaking a windscreen, look, it's not sexy, it's unexciting and simply not fun. Can also be costly. At Complete Windscreens, we get it. All you want is same-day service at the best price and quality guaranteed. For near 50 years, this SA-owned and operated autoglass company has serviced your needs. Whether it's tinting, chip repair, calibration, supply and fit or glass cutting, we are there for you. 220 Main North Road Prospect, the big red koala out the front, completewindscreens.com.au.
Set sail with up to 40% off every guest on every sailing with Celebrity Cruises and Phil Hoffman Travel. Unwind on pristine beaches in the South Pacific. Excite your inner explorer in Australia and New Zealand, or get a fresh perspective on the old world in Europe. Stunning accommodation, world-class cuisine and endless amounts of entertainment are all part of the journey with Celebrity Cruises. Hurry, offer ends November 9. Contact Phil Hoffman Travel or visit pht.com.au.
Reducing greenhouse gas emissions in the production of copper is critical, and why BHP has committed to solar, wind and battery agreements to help power our copper mine at Olympic Dam, South Australia. Visit bhp.com/critical.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sport Show.
You know, the game's given the club the feedback to say we're currently not at the level to be winning regularly, which is what we're aspirational to do, and we've got to make sure that we get our football program. And I talk program, I talk across the spectrum. It's the men's program, it's the women's program, it's our waffle program. How do we get back to providing our members and our fans and our people what they want, which is a highly competitive and successful football team?
5 minutes to 6, that's Don Pike, appointed as the new CEO of the West Coast Eagles today.
An impressive resume now. So he was a bloody good player, two-time premiership player. It was very important to that team as far as its makeup. From there to coaching, coached the Crows into a grand final. He's a ball movement coach. You go to the city and you watch how he went about that. God, it was
Yeah.
like watching the Crows Mark II. In between all of that, he's been on the board for West Coast Eagles and ran a very successful business.
He's a pretty intelligent bloke, isn't he?
Well, he is, and now he's the CEO. I mean, if he does that for 10 years, then ends up on the commission, he's ticked every box.
Just about,
Good on him.
Yeah.
I like the model of a businessman that played footy. I like the model of someone with business acumen who played footy at the highest level. You have a look across the board, whether you rate Gary Pert or the others that have done it, Richmond's CEO.
Benny Gale.
If you look at Hocking at
Geelong now, he's had a footy there.
if you know your core business and you can call BS on people that try to get in there and make decisions, God, you're a long way to being a good club.
He's got a lot of strings to his bow, doesn't he?
has.
He's a very
He's done it.
intelligent bloke. So
He's done it all.
Done it all. So congratulations.
Hello, Sammy.
Good day, how are you?
Good, thanks, Sam.
Yeah, just want to say, as a Port Magpie supporter growing up and watching you, Timmy, as a player and as a coach, it hasn't been a Port Magpie since 2014, to be precise. And I remember there was a game in 2015 or 16. There was no Port Adelaide in that side because Stephen Sutherland wasn't allowed to play.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah, you're right.
Yes,
Sam.
so it just, and as the Crow ties every Easter Thursday says the blockbuster between the Port Magpies and Norwood, that's just laughable because there is no more blockbuster Port Magpies versus Norwood. It's a power of reserves.
Yeah, I agree, Sam. Can't disagree with any of that. Timmy?
Yeah, look,
sadly,
it's a sad reality. Yeah, and again, it gets back to
God, we used to play and that. Didn't we? Anzac weekend.
Used to love it. But
Easter weekend.
You do have to move on, as they say. Yeah. We'll go to Gary at Mile End. G'day, Gary.
How you going, guys? How are you?
Good, buddy.
Just not happy. I think the AFL's got its own way. They decided to get rid of us back in the 80s. We had a group called Kick a Vic, and we stood by that and saying, no, we don't want to join. And they've just got their own way. They're a big bully. And now local league is sort of treading water, which is very sad. And, there's got to be something done. And, the AFL can't be sort of the big bullies like they are.
Gaz, cheer up. The SANFL will survive and thrive. Trust me.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's just floating back to those State of Origin days when they used to hold up those signs.
Kick a Vic.
I
was in that cheer squad. Still am, actually.
But, gee whiz, I tell you.
We had a retention scheme to keep our players from going across the border.
Did you get on it?
Nah.
No, I did not.
Nah. Well, you would have qualified.
No, I didn't. Well, I would have qualified, but I wasn't. Wasn't invited.
wasn't good enough,
there was no need to retain.
I think with us it was just Macca and Aishi.
Yeah, I actually don't know how many players we actually had on it. Nobody spoke of it. So
didn't they?
It was a really good thing said in our change rooms once. I'll never forget it. It was by a guy called John Simpson. You probably go, who's Simo? Now he came from Woodville. He went to Carlton. He came back. He played for Port. And I'll never forget, he was challenged in the rooms about how much he was getting paid. And he turned and he said, listen, I don't think it's healthy to speak about what any player is on. He said, because what we will do now is look at each other in a different way if we know what each other is on. And I don't think that's the best environment for team.
No, well done.
I've never forgotten it. I was only 19 years of age, and I thought to myself, well said.
Yep.
That is
it's no one's
brilliant.
business.
It's no one's business,
No
but
one's business.
I don't want to look at him differently because he's getting 4 times what I'm getting.
Yeah.
I should just be happy he's a good bloke.
Yeah.
And a good teammate.
Yeah, exactly right.
So well said.
Yeah,
Good on you,
absolutely.
Simo.
Just before we get to the 6 o'clock news, CJ Bruton joined us on the other side of that. Have you heard today that the Collins Dictionary has a new edition?
What?
Bazball is now in the dictionary.
No.
Really?
Yep.
It's not even a thing.
You can buy a Collins Dictionary today, and you can find, in the chapter B, listed as a noun, Bazball, described as a style of test cricket in which the batting side attempts to gain an initiative by playing in a highly aggressive manner.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yep.
BAZ-ball.
No,
All one word.
No, all one word. BAZBALL.
The Collins Dictionary. Not
Stoop
with the
to new
burnt
lows,
pie.
they have.
Here's Marnus Labuschagne's thoughts.
baseball getting included in the dictionary. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't. What was it? What happened?
Collins Dictionary added baseball into there, so when you go to the dictionary, you'll see baseball.
Oh man, that is garbage.
Well done.
Well said.
That is
What a Marnus.
absolute garbage.
6 o'clock news.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G. Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy tomorrow, 23 the top. With the 6 o'clock news, I'm David Bruce. Public school teachers have voted to walk off the job for the entire day on Thursday, November the 9th, despite Year 12 exams. But they've indicated they may call off the strike if the state government makes them a better offer on pay and conditions. The Teachers' Union has given the government a deadline of next Monday to meet its demands. Otherwise, the strike will go ahead. The surfer taken by a shark near Streaky Bay on Tuesday has been named. He was 55-year-old local man Todd Gendel. His family has thanked emergency services and his surfing mates in the wake of the tragedy. Mr. Gendel's friends and other surfers watched in horror as the giant predator savaged him at around 10:20 in the morning, dragging him under the water. The Prime Minister says dealing with cost of living pressures is the number one priority of the federal government. Anthony Albanese is trying to recalibrate his message to voters after the loss of the Voice referendum. He says the conflict in the Middle East is having global ramifications. But he believes Australia's budget position is in good shape to withstand the headwinds.
We know that a stronger budget position serves as an important buffer against international shocks, and it helps put downward pressure on inflation. Our government understands the cost of living is the number one pressure on Australian families.
Victorian police have spent the day searching the Gippsland home of Erin Patterson, who will be interviewed over the deadly mushroom dish. Gillian Lantouris reports.
Erin Patterson, the woman at the centre of the suspected toxic mushroom case, has arrived at Wonthaggi Police Station to be formally questioned by police. She was arrested at her Leongatha home around 8 this morning. Detectives from the homicide squad raided her house. They brought in specialist AFP detector dogs to help scour the home for evidence. The 49-year-old has been arrested over the deaths of Gail and Don Patterson and Heather Wilkinson after serving a beef Wellington dish that's believed to have contained toxic mushrooms on July 29. So far, no charges have been laid.
Major supermarkets are being accused of cashing in during the cost of living crisis. Coles and Woolworths are among the recipients of Choice's Shonky Awards, which recognise the worst products and services each year. Both businesses say they're aware of the pressures being placed on Australians and they're always exploring new ways to reduce prices. Now turning to 5AA Sport. Marnus Labuschagne is playing down Australia's upcoming clash with England at the One-Day World Cup. Saturday's match will be the first time the two have met since the fiery Ashes series, which saw Johnny Bairstow's controversial stumping. Last night, South Africa secured its place in the semi-finals with a 190-run win over New Zealand. And a home and away series against Uzbekistan is now all that stands between the Matildas and the Olympics. They wrapped up the second round of qualifying with a 3-0 win over Chinese Taipei in Perth. Orazio Fantasia has joined Carlton as a delisted free agent. The 28-year-old reunites with Blues senior coach Michael Voss, who worked as a senior assistant coach at Port Adelaide. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Reducing greenhouse gas emissions in the production of South Australian copper is critical. It's happening now at BHP at Olympic Dam.
Afternoon at Happy Valley, a crash on Chandler's Hill Road near Eastern Road. St Peters, a crash on Paynham Road near Stephen Terrace. Really heavy delays at that intersection, avoided at all costs. Woodville, another collision, Port Road near Woodville Road. And look out for cameras this afternoon, Baker Road, Lewiston and Coventry Road at Cutler. Whatever the room, whatever the temperature, Carrier Air Conditioners will keep you cool. Now with an amazing 7-year warranty. Call 13COOL or visit your nearest Bunnings store. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota forklift advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Partly cloudy tomorrow, 23 the top after an overnight low of 10. A sunny day on Saturday, 23 again. Sunny on Sunday, up to 25. And the next 4 days after that in the high 20s and low 30s. Currently, 21. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News tonight.
Thanks, I'm Kate Collins. Tonight's headlines. A driver arrested and charged over a mid-north crash that killed a mother and daughter. Calls for a shark cull in the wake of the deadly attack in SA waters. Plus, 9 News has revealed the Port Adelaide Football Club is poised to quit the Sandful. And don't worry, you haven't missed the news. Start over on 9 now as soon as you're home.
Join us for a week of birthday celebrations at 40 Winks. Head in store and save 50% off mattresses and 30% off furniture. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. Hurry, our birthday sale ends this Sunday. 40 Winks, serious about sleep.
Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Right now, Toyota Material Handling is having a massive clear out of 2022 and 23 plated forklifts. Score great deals across a selected range of new Toyota forklifts currently in stock. Counterbalance and reach forklifts, walkie stackers and more. So if it's 22 or 23 plated, get a great Toyota forklift deal. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift. T's and C's apply. Offer ends December 31.
Now, you've heard me talk about these guys before. I'm very passionate. Cheryl and Dave from Focus Home Improvements really focus on their tradespeople. You know why? Because they know in turn that some tradespeople, well, they'll be focused on looking after you if they get it right. Now, a happy tradesperson is a great tradesperson. And the trade team at Focus Home Improvements, well, they're the happiest in town, my friend.
I do like that. So if you're looking at a roof restoration, whether it's gutters, roller shutters or outdoor blinds, and you want absolute satisfaction, you really have to see the incredible team at Focus Home Improvements for a competitive price, quality Australian materials and outstanding workmanship.
Been down there, had a look at the display. It's amazing at Colonnades. If you want your roller shutters and outdoor blinds installed before Christmas, you better act now, because for a limited time, Focus Home Improvements is actually offering free installation. And you get it before Christmas. How good?
Not only that, to arrange a free, non-obligation quote, which is important. Get them out. Get them to size, measure,
no obligation.
No obligation. Visit focushomeimprovements.com.au or call in and see Cheryl and Dave at the Focus showroom inside the Colonnade Shopping Centre.
I did.
This week at Foodland, new season Adelaide Hills strawberries, 250 gram punnet, fresh value, just $2.40 to November 7th while stocks last.
Foodland, the mighty South Aussies, yeah.
How to be excellent at entertaining. Have a quick panic clean. Hide things in cupboards. Close every door. Light the candles. Decanter the wine. And most importantly, make sure you're well stocked with a selection of Frederick Street finest. Dry roasted almonds, honey roasted cashews, crackerjack mix and more. Look for Frederick Street finest in the fancy blue packet at your local Drake's supermarket. Be excellent anywhere with Frederick Street finest. Devoted to excellence.
Oh, come on, Rav. That wasn't a... He just died. Oh, shut up. Wait, it's just $6.95 for a giant snack bag at KFC. Shut up and take my money. Let's go.
Not everywhere and not forever. Pick up only. With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
8 minutes after 6 on your Thursday evening. Very shortly, CJ Bruton from the Adelaide 36ers. We said just before the news that Bazball's now in the dictionary, and we read the definition. I've got a better one. One on the Unique Homestyle Foods text line saying the definition of Bazball, a method of losing test matches and claiming moral victory. That's good. That's from Wayne.
Well done, Wayne.
And if you click images, that buffhead with red hair that complained, Bairstow pops up, doesn't it? Hey, another shout out to Greg from Works Electrical, that's WORX, and Mike at MGK Accounting. Chris is the plus one. Mike told us he was the plus one.
Sometimes you look at the plus one and you go, oh,
this is how good these blokes are. They've invited us to a restaurant. They're offering you a cashy No cash, because he's an accountant. No cash.
He said, come and see the movie.
He wants you to speak to his staff.
Yep.
And he invited me to, what's it, the Dome in U2?
The Sphere.
The Sphere?
He's invited you to Las Vegas.
Hang on,
so you two are playing in Vegas.
How come I get to go to the Victor
that's
Hartman
what I'm
bloody
saying.
cinema and you go to the Sphere?
You're doing the Snoozemar trip, and Mike at MGK Accounting, I tell you, he's bloody good. He's taking me to Vegas.
So he's got to keep his promise, that's why you're saying it.
Now that's on the radio too. 10 minutes after 6. All thanks to ACET Transport Solutions. They need more drivers. So for a career that'll take you places, speak to ACET Transport Solutions.
Well, the 36ers have started to, I'm going to call it purr along after a great away win over the Breakers by 12. We play the Wildcats in Perth Saturday. Joining us, well, I think a much happier, certainly a prouder coach, CJ Bruton. CJ, welcome.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
That's what happens when you stick to the game plan and the lads respond. You must have a smile from ear to ear.
It wasn't ear to ear, but it was enough to know that our boys, when you give your best and you play to the scout, there was a lot of positives, and we stuck to the game plan, which ended up resulting for a win, which was good.
Yeah. Everyone's talking about DJ. He's the catalyst. He's added new energy, new fight. But what I've loved is you've stuck to the way you've played. You've just done it better for longer.
Yeah, we have. We've been able to do longer periods. DJ's added the added punch that we needed. His aggressiveness, his assertiveness, not only just on the offensive end, but also his effort on the defensive end is really standing out, and obviously helping all our players lift to another level, which has been great.
I got to watch it at home, CJ, and I was thinking what an intriguing battle it was, especially right up to three-quarter time. There were several moments, and one of them was in the second quarter where the Breakers got a little run on, and I thought, well, this is bad. How are we going to stop this? The guys were able to just reassess, get themselves back into it, and I thought defensively so much better than that loss we had.
Yeah, our lapses have been less. We did turn the ball over quite a lot in that game, which, I was trying not to get frustrated because, as you know, everyone can feel the temperament of the coach, and that can weigh on at different times. So just let them know that there was an easier option. Obviously, missing out on 20 opportunities, 20 chances to score the ball more, which would have made that a convincing win, I like to think. But obviously, we got the win. But yeah, we were able to stay the course for longer periods, able to stay locked in on the defensive end. And when they did make a run, we made some timely buckets, which, every team has to do, and you have to have runs. And we were able to stay with them for a longer period than they probably thought. And know that where everyone's at on the ladder and what everyone's gone through, and everyone wants to win. No one's trying to lose, but when it gets crunch time and you're at home, everyone's expecting the home team to come out on top. And our momentum, our enthusiasm of staying the course was able to withstand everything that was in front of us.
How did everybody feel at three-quarter time? Because I got to say, watching it and being absorbed by it, I actually felt really confident at three-quarter time. I thought, no, I reckon we've been able to head every attack they've had at us, and I reckon we're ready to go. Was there a positive feeling at three-quarter time?
Yeah, I think all the way through, I think every week we're getting better and better at understanding how we want to defend, how we want to play, and to be in that top tier at this point of the season is an awesome feat compared to where we've been over the last few years. But that confidence level and understanding is definitely growing, and our offense is now starting to catch up with our defense. So, taking the right shots means you're not pushing yourself in D-trans and giving up easy buckets where it has to blow a timeout that's not at the time to use, and don't have to make subs at a certain time early because of foul trouble. We're able to stay the course and allow the certain shots that we want them to live with, and then making sure that we clean up the glass. And we've done a better job of boxing out, and I showcased that at the start of this week of, from the Perth game, got a little bit better in the New Zealand game, taking away certain guys' shots and giving them one shot. And clearly it makes a big difference as the game goes on.
I just love that 27-14 10-minute burst you had versus the Breakers. That's the 36ers I want to see more of. Do you capture that the best parts of that and show it back to the guys for confidence? Like, because I know as an athlete, you want a picture in your head how you want to play. That's how I want to see you play, CJ.
Yeah, no, I definitely try to capture different moments. I think after every game, try to review. There's always learning, right? So I start with the learnings of our defensive assignments of what we were supposed to do. This is not that, but then here's when we did do it. When we did do it and we stuck to our rules, these are the shots that he came up with, and this is what we were living with. And then I go from that to, showing how when we share the ball, clearly when you move the ball and share it, everyone feels involved. Your endorphins get a little bit higher and everyone gets a little more excited about being involved and getting a touch instead of forcing something up that leads to a bad shot at the other end of a bad play or a foul at the other end of the floor. So showing how when we move the ball and share it, when we set great screens, like Isaac's been amazing in all our wins and even just the whole season, just of setting the time, setting screens, rolling to the rim, being a big target, being a big defensive presence, and obviously Wiley's energy, showing, the loose balls, the hustle plays, like they're showing Jason Kadee doing box outs, and while it's only, a box out and he just gets the ball, it's like, that's a winning play. You don't know how that affects and changes the momentum of a game, of making the little hits and doing the little things as games go on, it becomes big. So, and then you get the timely buckets, like, a loose ball here or a deflection here on an assignment, just how the whole five come together in a possession, as you saw patches of us locking down defensively. We got 3 stops in a row multiple times and showing that to the boys of this is the effort that you're putting in at practice, which, not everyone gets to see. And when it comes to light in the game and you get 3 stops in a row, here's our return. Here's our award-winning stuff that comes at the other end of the floor. At the other end of the floor, because we locked down on defense and we shared the ball, it resulted in us getting great shots and our momentum's in our side. And this is an 8-0 run because of that. So allowing them to see that and be excited about that and then showing that, that was last week now. As I'm explaining to you, that was last week. So what are you giving me this week? Because right now, no one cares. We're back 0-0 and the fight's on and everyone's dog and sweat. You can pat yourself all you want and you got your love from your family members and from the press and everything else. But right now, all I care about is today. Give me what you got today and do this. Show me that your confidence, your communication's on point, and we do that, and I'm excited about today. But if you don't give me that, I'm on you like my mother would be if you didn't do your homework or fold your clothes or do part of your room. So you don't want that today.
So do your chores.
White on rice. Well, it's come at a good time, the Wildcats in Perth. I think we always live for them. They are on their knees. It'd be lovely just to push their heads into the blackboard, CJ. So all the best Saturday in Perth against the Wildcats.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Great work. CJ Bruton, our guest.
17 after 6, and it's all thanks to Ace at Transport Solutions, who need more drivers for a career that'll take you places. Speak to Ace at Transport Solutions.
Now, Tim and I are amazed that Bazball's been included or put into the Collins Dictionary. So we thought, well, what other sporting term or phrase, Aussie sporting phrase, would make it? We've got a $50 Powers voucher, lines available, 82230000. So I've got a couple, Timmy, you'll have a couple, and we've got Sammy here that's straight on the Collins Dictionary, we'll type it in. 82230000, $50 Powers voucher. If you've got it, that it's not there, you win it. So here's one. How's that?
How's that's in the dictionary?
Okay. Snag?
Snag, as in sausage?
Yep.
It's in the dictionary.
Kick a snagger?
Yep.
Okay. Shirt front?
Shirt front is in the dictionary.
Okay.
Wow.
Screwy?
Screwy. Screw punt?
Screw punt?
Screw punt? Not in the dictionary.
Okay, so there's a $50 Powers voucher.
Certainly an inside-out one.
What about collywobbles?
Collywobbles is not in the dictionary.
Okay.
I don't even need to Google that.
What about yin yang?
Yeah, we're not using. That's not even a sporting
Timmy,
phrase.
I haven't said that word for ages.
No.
What about lariat?
No, we're
That's
not doing
a
that
lasso.
either. 19. It's a piece of rope. Yes, 19 minutes.
82230000. Give me a word that's not in the Collins Dictionary, and our sport team will push it.
Goodness me.
What?
19 minutes after 6.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G.
Catch Crows and Power AFLW games live all season on 5AA. Thanks to Exis. For all the industrial cleaning jobs that you don't want to do, get Exis Group. EXIIS.
The T2D project will improve safety for motorists, pedestrians and cyclists and create more green spaces for the community. We're shaping the future of South Australia. Learn more at t2d.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
New Zealand. Spectacular, safe and friendly. The perfect destination for a magical getaway. Right now, Holiday Wonders Mitcham have an exclusive 17-day fully inclusive package. It's our best deal ever. Save up to $980 per couple. Fly direct from Adelaide with Air New Zealand, touring North and South Islands with meals, accommodation and so much included, with more highlights than any comparable New Zealand holiday. Call now or visit holidaywonders.com.au. Holiday Wonders, Belair Road, Mitcham.
This doesn't sound like a conference. This doesn't sound like a work trip. And this doesn't sound like team building. Because conferences and events sound different with Discovery Events. With amazing venues in special places across Australia, including Adelaide Hills, Victor Harbour, Nagambie Lakes, Rottnest Island and Byron Bay. Sound great? Visit discoveryevents.com.au. Your destination for premier venues in unique locations across Australia.
The high-tech home of tomorrow has a new name. It's not Siri or Alexa. It goes by the name Jim. Add data, security and complete connectivity to your home with Jim's antennas and security. Ask Jim how security cameras and motion sensors can give you peace of mind. And keep an eye on your house, yard, cars and sheds. Jim can do top brand 4-camera systems from just $1,595. For a high-tech home, just ask Jim. Hey Jim. Jim's antennas and security.com.au.
Business notifications out of hand? Thrive Command Centre keeps your customer emails, texts and social messages all in one place, so you never miss a message. Get it free today at thrive.com.au. T's and C's apply. Free plans have limited functionality.
We now know the winners of the SA Hotel Industry Awards for Excellence. So what are the best in SA? Best Pub Deluxe Accommodation is Sterling Hotel. Best Superior Boutique Accommodation is at Atura Adelaide Airport. Best Mid-Range Accommodation was awarded to Ibis Adelaide. And the Best Deluxe Accommodation is Sofitel Adelaide. And Mount Lofty House takes out the awards for Best Luxury Accommodation and Best Overall Accommodation Hotel in SA. Well done to these fantastic South Australian venues. Go and check them out for yourself.
I like to call it a passion. I can be sitting relaxing. I'm spending this holiday locked in. Back then wasn't worried about me though. In the gym trying to work on my free throw. What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in.
The new Kia Seltos. That's what's poppin'. And yeah, it's got options. The new Kia Seltos. The word is out.
Brand new whip, just hopped in.
Kia. Movement that inspires. With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
22 minutes after 6. We're taking your calls, 8223 0000.
We love it. Happy birthday to you, Sam.
Sam Tugwell, well done.
Mate, well done.
Happy birthday to you tomorrow.
Oh, we'll do that tomorrow, but it's all
we'll do
about
it tomorrow.
you today.
Well, it
really is.
Mate, we're going to have streamers and balloons. And
We will.
No.
You.
He had the balloons. He had the.
He did, actually.
He had all the.
He got the
I got
unique
the
home-style
unique
foods.
home-style foods.
I did.
All the food. You've still got an apple turnover to take home.
Yeah, if I get the hand-me-downs and the same balloons and streamers, I'll be very disappointed.
And the same food.
But you deserve it, mate. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Now, we open up the lines. Bazball's been included in the Collins Dictionary. Shirt front is, how's that is. And we said we will give you a $50 Powers voucher. And Sam's on the computer, straight on the Collins
Ready
Dictionary.
to go.
Brian, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Rose.
Okay, here you go. What's your word?
The mongrel punt.
Oh,
mongrel
I
punt.
like it.
Could damage
Mongrel.
fingers.
That's a good
Type
one.
it in.
Break fingers, that.
Yeah.
Mongrel punt, a tumbling, awkward-looking kick. Sorry, that's in.
Oh, Brian,
Wow,
sorry.
that's
Sorry,
awesome.
mate. Let's go to Matt for a $50 Powers voucher.
Yibbida.
Oh, there's no way that's in.
Yibbida-yibbida.
Rex,
Yibbida,
Rex,
yibbida. Nah, that is absolutely not in the dictionary. Well done.
Bingo.
Well done, Matt.
Matty,
thank
$50
you.
Powers voucher, mate.
It was
Send
in
it
the...
down, Yibbidi.
Have
Well
we got
done,
it?
mate.
Have we got yibbida? Can we play it?
was
we
in
don't.
the, was in the vernacular there for quite a while,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yibbida. That's all, folks. Now, Timmy, all week.
All week.
Well, for the first 4 days. Yeah. The best team of the 70s.
Yep.
Batsman, bang. Bowlers,
Yep.
bang.
Yep.
Wicket keeper Rod Marsh, bang. What is left?
Okay. Well, it's
Wrap
been
it
done.
up
We
for
did
me.
it. We did it out of the votes that came in.
Yes.
And we've ended up with Ian Redpath and Rick McCosker opening the batting.
Don't mind that.
First drop, Ian Chappell, captain.
So he has to be.
Number 4, Greg Chappell,
Yeah.
vice captain.
Yeah.
Number 5, Doug Walters.
I said Dougie Walters.
Legend. Number 6, Rod Marsh.
Had to be.
Had to be the greatest keeper in the world ever. Number 7, Max Walker.
Tangles.
Tangles went in at 7.
Was he a better batsman than DK?
Swing bowler, all the rest of it,
Okay.
slightly.
Yeah.
Then DK Lilly, number 8.
My favourite ever.
Jeffrey Robert Thompson.
Yeah, number 9.
Number 10, Ashley Mallett.
Ashley Mallett, a little bit of
He's
spinny,
the off spinner.
100
Yep,
odd
correct.
test wickets.
Yeah, well, it ended up 132
So who's
wickets.
our number 11?
Rodney Hogg.
Hoggy.
Came in with 123 test wickets
he
and
got a
one
lot
of the
of
best
votes.
Ashes series, a lot of votes. And 12th man was Keith Stackpole. So
Stacky.
well done,
done.
Stacky. And was part of the first ever World Series cricket lineup as well, Keith Stackpole. So
Who was
there
the
you go.
bloke with the big snout? Bill Lawry.
But finished in 1970.
Oh, did he?
He was more of a 60s player.
Because he was an opener, wasn't he?
Opener and protected his wicket a bit like Jeffrey Boycott.
Races pigeons.
He did. He did, and was probably the caller, along with Tony Gregg, of our generation, with the greatest host in the world ever.
Richie Benno.
Richie Benno.
They were the voice of summer. We don't quite have that now, do we? The voice
You
of summer.
wouldn't say my telly's going to go on and you're going to see Richie. You couldn't say that about somebody today, could you?
No, he
They're
held
all-
it together. God, we
Yeah.
miss him. The white, the off-white, the ivory, and the beige.
Absolute
Chip
class.
22
Talk about class. In any situation, that man could show class.
Pure
He
class.
was incredible.
I've been told to have more efficiency of words.
Mm-hmm.
There is no broadcaster that has better efficiency of words than him.
And Richie.
And the pause, the inflection,
amazing.
the timing.
Yeah.
He was gifted.
Yeah. It's
Not like Don Pike. We've got a unique home style food text. Don Pike speaks quicker than Yana Pittman. Is that possible? That is a nasty text.
Does he really?
Pikey,
I didn't pick up that he was that quick.
Does he? Pikey does talk fast.
okay.
Does Yana Pittman?
She must.
Don't knock
I'm
Yana
not sure.
Pittman.
I'll have to go back and have a listen.
4 kids, a doctor, studied all of that whilst being a Commonwealth Games superstar.
How do they compare with Ned McHenry? Now, there's a fast talker.
Yeah.
He's probably the fastest I've ever.
Yeah. You don't get much quicker than Ned.
Ned is.
Thanks to TJM Equip, sports show on
Fishing show
on
Tuesday nights.
Do you know what he says 100 times? Because I listen to
I know exactly.
Sammy.
Yep.
Sammy.
Yep.
Where was he? Sounded like he was at a golf game.
He was at Port Lincoln.
Because he was talking. Now, Sammy.
Yeah, he was in his apartment room, which he'd been put up in. He was on his own,
okay.
but he didn't want to be too loud, so it sounded very intimate.
No,
very intimate.
Disturbing.
Now, Sammy. Now, Sammy, the tuna are going really well out here.
27 after 6. Caroline Wilson next.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowey and Timmy G.
5AA Breakfast.
Port Adelaide Football Club, the Power, officially starting the process